It's AV Super Friends First Friday Live, a short, often impromptu show streamed live to the socials and usually on the correct day, the first Friday of the month. We've collected 2 or 3 topics, news stories, product announcements, social media posts, or email listserv messages, and we'll give you our honest opinions in about 15 minutes or less, or your money back. Offer not valid in some states. The show starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Friday, October 4th. It's the best sounding podcast in higher ed. That's all of higher ed. This is the AV Super Friends Live First Friday edition. Broadcasting live to tape from coast to coast, easternmost to westernmost, northernmost, southernmost, gate post to hitching posts. I'm your substitute host, Jamie Reinhart, and it's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure with the AV Super Friends. Today, I've got Larry, Mark, Justin, and Chris from just up the road in the glorious cornfields of Iowa, coming from ETC. So that's what I've got today with me. Hey, guys.
Hello, Jamie. Hey. Yeah, and we have a live correspondent today, Chris. You're on the other side of this.
It's different trying to do this from the other side on a tiny phone. So out the cards today, folks.
But we were committed. We were committed to giving you a First Friday on the first Friday. And here we are. We spared no expense. So
spared no expense. Well, as per usual, First Friday we come in at you, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. We try to pick some topics that we have found by scouring the social medias and the trade magazines and, the back channel rumors of
it's Reddit. We basically looked at Reddit.
AV.
We looked at Reddit. That's what it's all coming from Reddit at this point.
Fine. And today we've decided that we want to discuss NDI all over your campus, everywhere, all the time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be great. And then the strongman competition of USB, and also HoloLens may not be as viewable as it once was. So those are the things we think we want to cover today.
But first, to keep us all honest, since we don't have our production assistants here with us today, I'm going to ask Justin to fire up a countdown timer on his phone to keep us honest, with as loud as an alarm as you possibly can, for 15 minutes, so that we can stay and get in and out and not waste these poor folks' time today. Got it, Justin? You're going to do it from your watch. This is going to be great.
Set a 15-minute alarm.
Yeah, everybody's watch and phone all over the country. All 15 people watching this at this very moment has a 15-minute alarm.
Okay. We started and hit it, and then let's go ahead and let's start with that first topic.
We're already 15 seconds in.
So. Well, good. Share your screen. Let's get into this first topic.
Share the screen.
Which it's going to work. Here we go. Bang. Right out the gate. Microsoft. Discontinuing Yep. HoloLens.
HoloLens 2. Now, is this just the HoloLens 2, or is this all of them?
I don't know. I'm going to let Chris take a victory lap on this because he's our foremost authority in all things interactive goggles and such. So, Chris, how does this make you feel?
Yeah, let me clarify. I don't have anything against VR. It's just it keeps getting pitched out as this like end-all be-all panacea for every solution, and there's no. It's a solution looking for a problem. So, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It is like, as I say, it's the cookie cutter looking for cookies. Is this going to work for you? Try this.
Because every time it's this grand concept of, we'll put all our content in here and people can walk around and look at manuals. No one cares. It's never going to happen. It's not going to do it. So.
You're telling me you don't have all your manuals on VR just to go through?
But this seems like a product that would slide easily into the Copilot infrastructure.
Yeah.
To do exactly what you're talking about. Hey, goggles, find me the schematic for this thing that I'm working on so that I can actually work on it. It seems like this should be part of the system now.
Yeah, but nobody wants AI to give them the actual thing. They want them to take those 500 pages and distill it down to 2 sentences. Make this work. That's all we need, right? To make it work, take 500 pages and make it work. And so
insert credit card here.
Yeah, I don't think super clippy and goggles is going to get that done for you.
So with this HoloLens thing, I'm assuming they made a version 1, which is why there's a version 2. Like, I don't know much about it because I never bought one. So do they have a version 3 they're going to keep making, or 4? Or like they're going to do away with it completely altogether? So no more AI from Microsoft?
Supposedly there was going to be a version 3, but that's now off the table, or at least it's not announced yet. So
The replacement is currently planned with all support for HoloLens ending in 2028. Now, they could go to a whole new rebrand and say it's like
there we go.
non-HoloLens and just totally make a whole new reboot on this, which is possible. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen, you'll see the same sort of commentary you've seen from other ones where the core technology will get repurposed into other things and they'll continue the research, and that's fine. But the idea of pushing this as a widely adopted consumer technology, it's simply never going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's too expensive. It's too unwieldy. It requires custom content for everything. So, we're never going to see it. So stop building VR crap in your classrooms.
But you haven't had like that proposal, like we want to get the interactive table and we'll all come together and we'll wear our glasses and we'll be avatars all as one and we'll like look at 3D renderings of whatever we need 3D renderings of. You never had that proposal come across your desk yet?
How did your proposal go? Didn't you actually have one of these come through?
Yes, that's why.
And where did it end up?
I literally read it to you verbatim just now. It's we want to build a space that's going to have interactive space. We're going to use VR goggles, and we're going to have this podium in the middle where everybody's going to look and interact with VR assets or three-dimensional assets. And I'm like, great. What are these things? And it's like, just the stuff we do in that. And that's usually where the thought ends. Somebody went off and like flew to some exotic place like Ames, Iowa, saw something that somebody was doing, and came back home and it's like, we want to build that.
Talk with someone like Chris.
Yeah.
Came back with all this HoloLens idea.
Like, I don't know, they're doing it there. We must need it too. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses here. Don't worry about what we're going to do on the thing. We need the stuff. That's how it happens. So, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, they're shutting it down, so I don't think we
shutting
need
down.
to
Yeah, so if you
talk
have that,
about it any longer.
Get all your firmware up to date because it's going away soon. So.
All right, and so the next topic, and Mark, I think you brought this up the other day, and you said something about WTF. I don't know what that stands for.
We need strong USB.
Strong USB at a wall plate. I get what they're going for here, and. Have we all tried to or thought about trying this at one point in time?
No.
Not at a wall plate. No.
Doing the disconnect for like the USB
not once
3.0 or C or something like that?
Not once in my career have I thought, damn, if they only made a stronger USB.
Well, I think it's the pass-through they're talking about.
I know.
USB is the branding for Logitech's extension cables. They call it strong USB.
I know.
Yeah. But it always falls apart when you do that disconnect, right? At that wall where you're like, oh, they're going to come in and plug their thing in. Any kind of passive pass through, it's
Keystones where the weak link is.
Yep. It's like adding 50 feet to your cable right there.
Right there too. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to see more of this kind of stuff because it's the whole BYOM, whatever movement, and people want to plug in their laptops. And I get it. Like, I mean, I might be guilty of trying to do some USB-C disconnect myself in some office space around here, but it's not for the faint of heart, right? You got to have a lot of control over devices and all that stuff. I don't think it's ready for prime time yet. I mean, Larry, you're shaking your head no. What do you think?
I wouldn't do it myself. You already have so many limitations with it. Like, why add that extra variable? Like, it's not a transport. And if you're using it as a transport, you're designing it wrong.
Yeah, don't extend USB.
No.
Well, this is like just throw it on the wall, walk away. It works.
Yeah, no. If you can't plug the same cable in, it's not set up right.
Yeah, I mean, the promise and the dream is there. You can see it on the horizon. It's just not quite fully baked yet. And like as much as I want it to be, it's just not quite. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying it in certain spaces. Jamie, I'd be surprised if you haven't gone down the road of trying to get some USB disconnect somewhere.
No, I haven't.
Really? Okay.
I have employed like USB hubs as a one connection, but I always provide the cable. So that way I can at least at least I can keep the cable limitations to a known commodity and it can be swapped out. But as you guys have noticed, anytime you put in some kind of disconnect, usually it's the cheapest connector. You know what? That guy's banned. Right now.
That's Cam. Yeah.
I already kicked him out.
Cam's banned.
Get out of
but
here. You can use it, just don't call me.
but it's just usually the cheapest connector because it's bulk made and it's not always reliable, or it's an active extension. And what I found with active extensions is, they still require the 5 volts, right, or more from wherever the source is. They don't always pull it, or the little chip that's in there fritzes out and you're screwed. So now you have a $200 active extender that doesn't work because it's fritzed itself out. So you just USB over distance if it's not converted into some other thing, HTTP or some IP protocol or something. At that point, why are you doing it? And so we have that conversation when we talk to a lot of the manufacturers and our friends that are out there, and they're all like, "Oh well, but yeah." What was the one quote we had? It's hard, right?
It's
USB's
hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
So it's just, I have not tried to put a disconnect in for USB. Now, I've done a lot of other stuff, but just because it's such a pain in the ass.
So would you consider an active unit, like a transmitter receiver, a disconnect? If the thing is there and it's on an active device, is that a disconnect? Or are we talking about like the passive style extension pass through here?
Either way, yes, I would consider it if and how it's used, but it's a disconnect. If it's a wall plate like the typical plug your HDMI here and it appears on the display, then that's a disconnect. Where if it's just an extender, it's never going to disconnect. I think most of the problems for me come through plugging in, unplugging, plugging in, unplugging.
The movement.
But if it's just an extension, let it go. But either way, they typically, over a period of time, just become another way to pull a new cable.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Chris, anything from what would Ames, Iowa have to say about this?
I'm not sure what they'd say. I'd have to check with the local team and see what their response would be. But yeah, don't extend USB is the short version.
You didn't see any of it laying around there? Okay. Justin, any last words on that one?
Yeah, like
Does your office have?
Don't extend USB. Just don't do it.
Don't extend it. Well, I'm dabbling with this in people's offices, giving them that disconnect to their local display in a small camera / microphone soundbar.
Mark, you're starting to do all the stuff that we're telling people not to do on our show.
Seriously.
They're controlled environments. I got to be. I got to go against the grain somewhere here, guys.
And that's where but I use it as an extension. I don't because most of the time they don't ever unplug whatever that is. It's plugged into.
They're gonna unplug it.
Yeah.
I had that.
It's going to be their laptop. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the laptop, but it goes to a dock. Yeah. So that extension is connected to the dock, not to the laptop.
Yeah.
And the dock takes care of the disconnects with the laptop. And even at that point, I get calls every now and then. It says, the camera didn't show up. Did you unplug it and replug it back in? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, see, there it is, right?
There it is.
These are environments where it's one known quantity of laptop on their desk. And it's USB-C to USB-C Thunderbolt cable that is there. And everything that's coming down that is actually USB 2.0 on the data side. I'm never going to trust that with the USB 3.0. Dumb down your soundbar and your camera, and it actually comes through quite nice and does give you the video and the audio through MacBooks and Windows machines that have the chipset that are there. And I give them that fine print up front that says you must have this chipset for this to work.
Agreed.
If you do not have it, do not try this.
Yes. So I put them in offices, but not into a general purpose space.
Okay. Well,
all right.
I'm there with you. Next up.
So the last topic we have today, we're going to have polarized opinions on.
This is definitely don't do this.
Whoa.
Well, that's exactly.
All right, tell us what.
So the first thing is, the first mistake is you used NDI.
Well, hold on. We got to tell everybody what it is.
You put that across campus.
Campus-wide NDI HX, whatever deployments.
Version 75.
Whichever version.
Yep.
Let me ask you on this one. Yeah, why? What are you doing?
What are you trying to solve?
So in here, if you get into the details, they're trying to get cameras and instructors' PCs into an Epiphan Pearl. They're trying to leverage the NDI capabilities on that device so they can use that into their lecture capture ecosystem. I'm holding my popcorn here.
Chris either had too many drinks or this is not a good topic.
This is the dream. We all want this to be reality. Everybody wants to be able to do this, and everybody dreams about it when they experience that screen share via NDI the first time. They're like, holy shit, this is going to make everything better. It just doesn't work in practice yet on most networks. I think I want to see this be successful, but I'll take the field or the under on this bet.
You're going to, like, it depends on, like, is this the person that manages 30 rooms in one building, or is this the person that manages 800 rooms across the entire campus? That's two completely different discussions with this.
Yes.
Right.
That's easy.
So it's just, no, don't do that.
I want to see this be successful. I probably would not do it like this. I would never probably trust the NDI because, like you mentioned, you got to have the different discovery servers running and all that, and that all just seems like a recipe for disaster to me. But if it was more tried and true plug and play, run what you brung, go. Like if it operated more like SRT, I would probably entertain this. But Jamie, you're the closest one to trying this kind of crazy stuff.
Oh, I've done it.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
I have it running. I run this all the time. But so the fallacies with this idea that they're going to run into in a hurry is, number one, the PC deployment software is not ready for prime time. For a managed enterprise system.
Credentials.
Yes, you have to have admin credentials. So most enterprise systems, they just do not want that happening.
Right.
And it needs to be on the same network as the rest of it. So in that part of the deployment, it's going to fall apart. It doesn't work as well as you think it does unless
really
you
wants
have
to be on
total
the same
control.
Physical segment for the most part.
For the most part. Then trying to use Access Manager and some of the discovery servers and things. When you treat it as a truly campus-wide matrix system, it falls apart in a hurry too. The maintenance overhead on it is still too manual. And you're also allowing somebody else to be able to select these cameras.
Yeah.
So that falls apart in a hurry. Now, almost all of my current camera systems are NDI on the network.
Yeah.
Right? And I have receivers, but it's all mostly treated as point-to-point unicast systems. I do have a few spaces. I have a pharmacy program where I have an entire building that the AV over IP is NDI with encoders and decoders, and every screen is using it. There's a little latency lag. There's some, you learned it the hard ways. So I think it can be done. It does intrigue me. I do like some of the new HX series. The latencies have dropped, and the efficiency has the quality is good. So it used to be when you used HX, the latency was so poor that you had drunk mouse syndrome. It was terrible. But some of the new ones, it's starting to quicken up a little bit.
I think you can see the elegance in a design. Like when you draw it all out and you put it all together, like that looks very elegant. Like it's going to do everything you want it to do, but it just never, the experience doesn't
your
kind of follow
bandwidth
suit.
calculations and think about your support team.
Well, that's what I really like about the new HXs is that, I mean, we're still running under 7 megs per stream, so that's not terrible. There are some hiccups and some things that are going to bring that to a screeching halt. We won't even talk about having an external Lexer capture device to handle all this.
That's
at some point, if you're running it all on NDI, just run the software and you can just bring it right in the computer, and you don't have to share the computer screen. You just capture it local. But that's only what I'm doing, not what most people are doing.
Our clock, Justin.
The clock's going.
The clock has gone that way.
Second warning of the clock. Yeah.
Yeah, the clock has gone that way. But I do. It is intriguing, and to your point, it's like once you start drawing it up, you really want to try it. Try it small, but when you start to scale it campus wide, forget about trying to do the massive campus wide matrices and things.
That's
just simplify it. Use the standard to make your life easier, but don't try to overcomplicate it. That's like saying I want a campus-wide Dante network. Nobody really does.
That's the same thing you hear with AV over IP. Is this concept that you're going to you're going to pick whatever codec protocol you like, and I'm just going to plug everything into the network and it'll be fine, and it'll run everywhere. And on paper that looks great, and then you actually try it and it's No, it works in one room, 2 rooms, maybe in the building, but then you start hopping build. It's a mess. So
Is that a real use case though? Are people actually like, oh, I want to see the computer over there, over here, like in another
Well,
room?
I mean,
but nobody
That's
actually
two
wants
questions
to do that.
though, Mark. Like,
Yeah.
do people want to do that, or do people do that? So people don't want to do that, but people that
want it.
are like us think they want it,
Yep.
right? So we design it for them, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't want to send my PowerPoint to the science building. I'm in English. Why would I want to send my English PowerPoint to biology? That doesn't make any sense."
They all need to see my dissertation, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "But you have to use our campus-wide network. We built it for a reason."
15 years ago, everyone had the concept of doing this with baseband video, giant, HD-based T deployments to do the same thing, and that was used 3 times and never again. And if you want to do that, if you want to share content like that, just join your freaking Zoom or Teams session and share it that way. Done.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Well, I think we have we first Friday'd this one out.
Chris, 30 seconds. How was Ames on the week?
The weather was fantastic. The campus is beautiful. Conversations were great. Lots of people sharing interesting ideas. So it's a great conference that the rest of you should have been at, and everybody listening should have been there. So next year, ETC is in Raleigh, North Carolina.
On the calendar.
I sent everybody a calendar invite, so you have to go now.
We'll
Larry,
check.
15 minutes away.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
We'll
we're
have
all
to
staying at Larry's house.
We'll have to dodge next year's hurricane.
All right.
Well, folks, that's going to bring First Friday to a close. Don't forget to follow us on all of the socials, or as many as we're on. Twitter at AV Superfriends, LinkedIn, just search for us in the search bar, you'll find it. YouTube, that's where a lot of this is getting stored, and you can watch some previous things. So check us out there. Hit like, share. You guys know the drill. You hear it from everybody. And get some friends to join us as well. And that's going to do it for AV Super Friends First Friday. Thanks, gents.
We did it. A short show just for the first Friday of the month, usually. Follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to join us next time. And you'll find the full slate of recorded podcasts and everything else we do at our website, avsuperfriends.com.